Welcome, fellow gamers of the Marvel Strike Force community. It is Super Otaku Kami coming at you guys, and not we, but I guess we, want to talk about this community feedback that we got last night, and I think I'm gonna read it first. We're gonna read it first, and then I'm gonna come back with my opinions and feedback of it. And anybody that watches this, please feel free to chime in. And I guess you can't chime in because I'm not live, but leave a message and in the comments, and then yeah, we'll go from there. All right. So, acknowledging community feedback. Over the past few weeks, the dev team has been reading over a lot of feedback coming from many corners of the community. We've also been in discussions with leaders from some of the top alliances regarding their concerns with the economy, and we've been finding their feedback immensely valuable. Upon reflection of this feedback, the team agrees that there are some issues that have been left unattended for too long, and we need to focus on addressing them. There is a lot to shift through and prioritize, but we believe it's important to give this feedback the proper analysis that it deserves. You express frustration about several areas of the game, and we understand those critiques come from a place of passion and love for Marvel Strike Force. Today we want to acknowledge some of the highest priority issues and give as many details as currently available on how we're addressing them. It's our intention to publish a follow-up to this post in 3 weeks that will provide further details on the specific actions we're taking and timelines on when you expect to see those changes in game. Alright, so Orange Gear access. The most pressing concern the community has raised in recent weeks is availability of Orange Gear. Certain Orange Gear pieces, including Origin pieces, Superior Basic Catalyst, and other Superior Catalyst parts, are currently in very short supply. While we intended that players should have to make choices about where they want to use these components, we were overly tight on these resources, preventing players from bringing up a wider array of characters past Gear Tier 12, especially since the progression to Gear Tier 15 requires a significant amount of resources. The game isn't yet at the point where Orange Gear should be as accessible as Blue or Purple, but has moved to the point where non-unique Orange Gear shouldn't be as tight as it is today. We are putting plans into action to correct that, and while some of those plans will take longer to prepare, some changes we can commit to in the near term are updating the raid season milestone rewards to include more rewards, especially Orange Gear, increasing the quantity available from the stores, supply stores and raid supply stores. A new feature that we'll highlight in an upcoming blog of our 2021 preview will also be a source of Orange Gear. Stay tuned for more details. Training modules. There are players, especially newer players, who have a great need for more training modules. Building out a wide roster for modes like War and Blitz can be more demanding in this area than building up only a few teams for Arena and Raid. One of the ways we plan to address this is to make training modules more readily accessible in one of the mode-specific stores, which we'll announce a bit later, and we are actively investigating additional options. See, character availability. Previously we mentioned that we delivered at least 2 characters per month, with one guaranteed on the first Wednesday of every month, and we believe we've done a good job of honoring that commitment. But last year we did allow too much time to pass without certain characters becoming fountable. Be it in campaigns, stores, or orbs, due to the schedule of legendary events and required input, a few characters were delayed longer than we originally intended. We typically don't like holding characters for an extended time, and we will be more mindful to not allow this to happen in the future. We have also been adding characters to the War Store without removing older characters, and that has created some overcrowding by diluting how desirable the characters in War Store are. We are working on a plan to remove less desirable characters as new ones enter. Alright. Doom Raid rewards. In version 5.1, we released a new in-game Doom raid in the First Strike early release state. When we did this, we didn't properly communicate our future plans of the Doom raid, including all the rewards that would eventually be going into it. We plan to include the next tier of ISO 8 Blue as new in-game reward for that raid, but we're not ready to go into details yet. While the raid is in the First Strike state, alliances ready for a greater challenge than Ultimate 7 difficulty 5 can test and build their teams up in preparation for the full release of this epic challenge. Quit impunity in RTA. Also in version 5.1, we made changes to allow the AI to continue a match if the opponent quits. This was in response to players quitting out before a match was completed, causing frustration in the opponent's experience. We tried to further discourage quitting by making it so that players who do quit do not get progress towards objectives. We've since heard your feedback that there are very valid reasons to quit a match and that this is felt too punishing. We plan to address this issue in an upcoming update that will allow players who quit to keep their progress from the match. The AI will still continue to play for them after they leave so their opponent can finish the match. Raid milestones. Raid season milestones have been untouched since their initial implementation in 2018. We agree that this is an area that we've ignored for far too long and needs to be updated. One of the ways we plan to do so is by rewarding additional gear to help players progress at all levels. Thor's Hammer Crash. I'm gonna just skip this because I know that might be important to some people. I don't know. Save squad slots. We need more save squad slots. And so summary. So I'm skip those last two. We know there are other areas of concerns within the game for the community, and the items on this list don't represent the totality of everything we're working on, but we do feel that they're the highest priority ones right now. And as mentioned earlier, we will follow up this post in 3 weeks when we've had more time to solidify details and timing of the plans we've started discussing above, which we will then share with you. For those that look forward to our normal weekly blogs entries with previews of upcoming events, we'll publish that information tomorrow. Player feedback is very important to the Marvel Strike Force development team, and we take it seriously. We will continue to keep an open dialogue on these topics. All right. Okay. All right. So we got all that, right? So this is, I don't know about everybody else, right? But my biggest issue right now with the game is how disrespectful that lunar event is. They made an event. All right. So all right, let me get into why I find this event disrespectful. So Marvel Strike Force is a free-to-play game. Now, and I don't know how everybody else feels about this, but kind of my definition of a free-to-play game is that if you put time into this game and play it for free, that everything in the game should be acquirable. So that means, yes, spending money is mostly to save you time that you don't want to put into. So, and now granted, by spending money, that does give you an advantage because you're not spending as much time as someone that's playing free that will take, say, 2 months or even 3-4 months to max out a character. It's taking you like a week or two to max out a character. So yes, you cut that time, and by cutting that time, you do get an advantage. A little cute with that, but it's more about time. You spend money to save yourself time. And this lunar event has nothing to do about time. There is nothing in this game where you can get 1,000, 3,000, or 5,000 cores in a day. Those awards are impossible to get, period. You have to spend, it's like something like $60, $70 a day US to complete that daily. I'm sorry, it's disrespectful because there are a lot of players who, and I have a few in my alliance who really keep up well, you know, by putting their time into this game. And I feel that, you know, when you say the only way you can um, complete this event is by spending money, I just think that is very disrespectful, because there are players that really put a lot of time and effort into this game, and you took that away. And you know, like, I have spent a good amount of money on this game, and there's been events where I was like, man, you know, I do the math and I'm like, that's a lot of blitzing or a lot of whatever it is, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna spend 40, 50, 60 bucks, because I do not want to put all that time to achieve the goal. I want to make it easier for myself, and that is an option I was able to take. But in this event, there was no option. There was no, if I do this, I can complete this. There was only one option, and that one option was spend money. Now, if you wanted, like, you should have just came out and said, this event is about spending money. I don't know if they're hurting or something right now, but basically, they should just call this, forget the core spending event. They should have said, this is a money spending event. This is for our, you know, our krakens, whales. And that's the thing, like, I've watched other videos, and they're like, you know, people that are like, I spend a good amount of money, and these goals were, you know, out of reach. You know, like, you know, you got some spenders, and, you know, kind of, you know, people that play this game almost not for a living, but, you know, this is one of their main channels that are saying, yeah, I don't spend nowhere near enough cores. And I just think that's, there was nowhere in this acknowledging community feedback was their apology for the lunar event. They didn't even mention the lunar event. They haven't mentioned the miscommunication, the last few blogs, of just like changing things on the fly. Granted, you know, they pushed up, what is it? They pushed up Jubilee, and yeah, I was able to get her, but at the same time, you know, I was expecting, you know, Nick Fury, and I was expecting to have a few more weeks, and I could have tried to push towards, cause I just got her at 5, but I could have pushed towards 6, and might have even spent some money to make that happen. But once they moved it forward, I really took that as they were trying to force people to spend money, rather than, once again, giving us the choice. Like, I just feel like they've been trying to take the choice of us spending money. They've been trying to force us to it. And the fact that they have not, nowhere in this community feedback was there any kind of apology or any acknowledgement of their pretty much bad business practices, kind of bothers me. And like they're the first thing on here should have been an apology about the lunar event, because they did nothing originally to like. Now the thing is, if they would have said this is going to be a core spending event, but then they gave us stuff that will help us get cores. So say if, you know, normally they like to do raid and what is it? Raid and blitz and arena. You know, they could have threw in, you know, you'll get you know, 5 or like 1 core per knockout in RTA, or up to a maximum of something. They could have did so much where they would have gave us ways to get cores, so we can then go spin those cores. And then, you know, you give us enough, say that our alliance can complete the whole alliance one, but if you want the individual, you know, yeah, you might want to spend, but that encourages the spending of money, because you're like, I don't mind spending $10 because I feel like I'm getting my money's back. But this this community feedback was just terrible in my book, because for me the biggest issue right now is this lunar event. Lunar event has me, not now, but originally I just wanted to delete the app and just never play the game again, because I was just so disrespected by this. But let's get into it. So Orange Gear, yes, there is a huge problem with Orange Gear, because the basic Orange Gear stuff is like, I am trying to get Iceman up. Iceman needs, what was it? I think 300 of the basic stuff. I don't know even. I don't even know the name of it. But it's a lot. Let's just put it that way. You need a lot of gear pieces to go to gear tier 15. And it's just like getting some of these, you got like 15 tries to get them, because there's only like 2 nodes. So yeah, it's pretty bad. But and I think their response to something, like, if you give us more raid gear rewards in the raids, not raid store, but raid rewards, I think that would help a lot. If the number goes up into the stores, I think that will definitely help a lot. And if there's other ways that more is going to come out. So I think this is an easy fix, and they just been lazy about it. And once again, they were pushing to get money out of us, because they know people want to get into that new mode, Dark Dimension 4. They knew that the supplies were tight, and they wanted to try their best to get money out of us. And once again, the fact that they don't want to acknowledge their greed bothers me. So there's that. Training modules are a huge issue, because in my smaller account, it is very hard. Like, every day I run out of training modules. Every day. Like, I have to, like, save a day or two to, like, really move up some characters, and it's very annoying. And especially how much easier it is to unlock characters, and how many characters there are. There's not enough training materials. What else is there not enough of? There's not enough ability materials at some points, especially when it comes to T4 ability materials. We need the block party monthly, because especially if they're going to keep on coming out with 3 to 4 characters a month, it's just not enough. Like, there's so many characters that I want to put T4s on, but I'm like, well, I really need to put T4s on this character, because that's going to help me more right now, and it's not enough. Now, granted, I know as an alliance, if we can move up in raids a bit, we'll get some more, but I just don't think that difference will make up for the lack now. So I'm not too sure, but those are, along with train modules, and the ability orb needs to be updated. Like, you get like 5 purple ability materials and like on a gold drop. Come on. Like, that orb has not been touched since since it was introduced to the game. It was a terrible orb when it was released, and they have not fixed it. Character availability, this is kind of along the same thing. I think one of the best things they can do, especially when it comes to the war store, you take some of those older characters, and I just say throw them on random nodes. Just put them on a node. Doesn't have to be like a boss node or anything like that. Just put them on a random node and just get their shards available. Like, I don't understand why they think they need to shuffle those set nodes around. I don't know if it's harder to program that or not, but I feel like they can just grab a node, just a random node, and put mercenary sniper, Nobu, Even take some of the other characters out of the store, so that way when you're going for some of these materials, you have a shot. And they can even do just like one shard instead of the two shard, or yeah, one shard instead of the two shards, and keep it at the 10. So that way, if you get, if you get three, whatever, because they're less significant characters, but you're going for that gear, so you're getting some of these shards of these characters that are out of date and people really don't care about. And it just makes better economy. And let's see, Doom Raid. I'm in alliance that we can't do Doom Raid. But when you look at Doom Raid rewards, they suck. So I don't have too much to say on this, because now if this was something that, I was past, me and my alliance was past Ultimate 7, and then we looked at Doom Raid, I'd be kind of upset. And it was kind of disappointing also, because I kind of thought they were going to do levels, so like you do Doom Raid 1.1 and stuff like that. So I thought they were going to make it at least acquirable to like at least people that are doing well in Ultimate 7, so you could take a crack at it, give you just something fresh. So I mean, that wasn't too disappointing, because I still want to move up through Ultimate 7, but they gotta work on those rewards, because at that point, people that are level 80 and have all the requirements to be in Doom Raid, they clearly need those rewards to better their roster, bring up other characters to the level that they have the characters to go through the game or through the raid. But you don't even get like one what do they call it, Armory 15 orb. Like, you don't even get like a half one for clearing it. If you clear it, you get like a third of one if you get 30%. It's terrible. It's, like, what are y'all doing? Like, I just don't get it. The quitting penalty, and I do think that, if someone's halfway through the match and they have 2 knockouts and whatever amount of abilities or turns they took, and they decide to quit, yes, that's what they get. I don't know if that has changed, but they should get up until that point of where they quit, and then the AI should take over. I'm not saying that if they quit, it should automatically they just get nothing. I mean, I kind of want to say that, but I think what they did up until that point, because honestly, if you really don't want to play the match, or you feel it's like a lopsided match, just hit auto, because that way you just give the other person their, the turns that they're going to take, and if you do get some turns, you'll get something out of it also, and you can literally just hit auto and walk away. And if they're going to kill you in 20 seconds, that's like going to be the same amount of time you quit and had to load out anyway. So just hit auto. So I don't think now if they're getting rewards for going in quitting and then letting the AI play, I don't think they shouldn't get no rewards at all if that's what people are doing, because people are going to take advantage of that. They're just going to enter in, as soon as it starts, quit, walk out, and then they're just going to get rewards later. So I don't know exactly. They don't really say how exactly it works, but I think they said you will get your rewards up until the point you quit, and I hope that is the how it works. And once again, they need to fix the real-time arena. I still just don't find it competitive. I find it I'm just chasing after those milestones, and once I clear those milestones, I do not care about that mode. So I don't know if they need to break us into shards, and kind of like how arena is. If you're top this, you'll get this rewards. But I think they need to take that same arena formula where you actually want to move up, and if going down is bad, but then because that brings competitiveness, and it's a live, it's it's real time, so that means and it's like unlimited, so but there's no competition. You're just chasing milestones. And I feel Arena is more um, competitive, and you're just playing a computer. So I don't understand how, like, what their goal. Now, if it's just to push their battle pass, all right, I guess. Um, but yeah, I just the real time arena needs, while it's still young and early, it needs a whole, like, just they need to work on it. They just keep working on it. And then, like, because there's still characters that, I play on my other account. I have, like, characters that aren't leveled up. I have characters that I don't have unlocked, and I'm stuck with milestones I can't get. And that was an issue that was brought up immediately. And I remember they said, we're going to try and not have it character focus, but yet there's still character focus. And so when you say our feedback is important, clearly you're overlooking a lot. Raystone milestones, please just update it. Like, come on. Thor's hammer crash. I've never really come across this, so I know people that have this issue. I completely sympathize with you, and I hope they get it fixed for you. There's a lot of weird bugs where characters freeze and stuff, but the gameplay still works well. And, if you come across these issues, just always put in a ticket, explain it, try to look at the feed, like, look for a response, so that if they're asking more questions, you can give them adequate information so they can try to work on these bugs. But I've had a few things where I've reached out to them, and they seem very responsive, and we had some good back and forth. And so they definitely do look into these really well, and people that want to give informative information, they really do work with you. So just work with the customer service, because I'm pretty sure they are working with some developers that are asking them questions to ask questions. So get that information to them so that it can better in situations like this. Save slots, just come on, this is common sense. Give us more. We should, like, they just need to, like, put it at 100 and keep it there for a while until 100's not enough. And I know if they put it at 100 in 6 months, people will complain that 100's not enough. It's just how the community is, how any gaming community is. People are just gonna complain about stuff that's not a big issue. But just give us abundance, and then let's go forward from that. And then one thing I did want to talk about is when they said they been having discussions with leaders from the top alliances. I feel like they need to. I don't know what they consider top alliances, if this is like, Pants of Hulk and the people like that. But those guys clearly spend a lot of money. So I know they want insight from them, because those are people that keep this game going. No problem with that. Keep the people that are keeping the game alive happy. Of course. But, and I saw a few comments on Twitter. Some people were like, and I feel like I fall in this boat, like, I spent a good penny, like, I spent a few hundred and thousands of dollars, but are you taking my feedback serious? Because, obviously I don't, some of these people don't do streams, so they're not getting donation, don't have YouTubes and are getting donations, so they're not getting money to go spend this money on this game to keep them ahead so that they could give advice. But we're using, like, our hard-earned money that could be going to other things. Where, in my case, I actually have, like, a Marvel Strike Force budget so that I can, spend money on this game. And what about our feedback? And now, we can reach out to the customer service, and I do get some surveys saying they want our feedback and stuff like that. But you should say, I don't know how they could say it, but I don't know, it's once again a little bit of a slap in the face where you want to say, like, the top alliances have, like, this loud voice that needs to guide the game. But now, granted, like I said, they keep the game alive, so I understand keeping them happy. I'm not going to take that away from them. I'm very happy with what they do, and the fact that they go through these modes and give us tips. So it works. But talk about the rest of the community also. And they did say from many corners of the community. I'm not going to take that away from them. But when they kind of highlight top alliances, it just seems like their voice, I guess it is more important. But, some of us that do spend money, we feel we contribute to keeping this game alive. So, I don't know. It's a funny thing to say. But outside of that, that's my thoughts. Biggest thing, and I'm right after this, I am going to write still, because they need to put apology for that lunar event. Because I feel like that was just what broke people. That lunar event is terrible. It is. And I just feel like they need to acknowledge that publicly. Because I've still not seen, like, we messed up, guys and girls and people. Like, we messed up. So I would like to see that. Outside of that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Once the blog comes out, I will have the actual blog, Let's Talk blog. And hopefully I'll have more videos, because I've been slacking. But outside of that, peace out.